Okay, so we are this is the aftermath, and we're talking about Desmond's very
Yes.
controversial list of worst actors. So
This
please,
is this is not controversial.
it is very controversial.
Okay. Uh top bottom 10 worst
Mm.
actors of all time.
Oh my god.
Bruce Willis.
It's just that it's rude. It's
It's
that's the
not rude.
part.
Bruce
It
Willis, he's on the list. Along with Hayden Christensen.
I'm telling you, Hayden Christensen is tired of y'all shit. He's tired of you treating him like this, and that's why he's just gonna go start like a scuba diving troop or something, so he don't have to look at y'all. He's tired of y'all disrespecting him. He was Darth Vader.
For like 2 seconds.
He was
You don't get partial credit for that. Actually,
wow.
I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's going to reprise the role in the Obi-Wan series.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. So I'm looking
Okay.
forward to it because if he redeems himself, I'll take him off the list.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Eddie Redmayne. Listen, I had people going crazy over this Fantastic Beast movie. They're like, "You got to check this out."
I didn't
I was
like
like,
it.
"What am I watching right
What
now?"
in God's name am I? It's like a bad acid trip.
Yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 10.
It's like that dragon is, moving around and man.
And
But
I felt like I was being generous giving it 4 out of 10. I wanted to give it 3.
well, Desmond, you know what? It's America. Give it three.
So Colin Farrell,
That's stop.
no,
Stop.
no, he deserves more.
Colin Farrell is an amazing actor. He
Yeah.
is funny. Come on. You mean to tell me at Frank the Tank? Don't do Frank the Tank. Don't do him.
Oh my God. Yeah, Colin Farrell is on this list, along with Vin Diesel.
Are you going to listen to his album?
No. Sylvester Stallone.
He is a terrible actor. I will give
There's
you
no
that.
debate there.
There's
Sylvester
no
Stallone
debate.
needs to be on this
I'm
list.
not debating.
Okay. Nicolas Cage. I mean, these are in no particular order, but he should be number one. I mean, okay.
Okay.
And hold on now. I forget where the rest of my. Okay, I'm sorry, everyone. My list is not loading right now. Now my internet's not met. See what's going on
Aha!
here? See what's going on here?
What a day when the tables are turned. um, let me think about actors that I think are really terrible. I would say I don't really. That's the thing. Like I try to watch very of caliber. You know who I actually think can act? Colin Farrell. Oh wait. I meant Colin first, not no. Wait, no. I, oh shit. No, who's that boy with the goatee? He was in that terrible remake of
Huh.
Total Recall.
That was
Him.
Colin Farrell.
Oh, you know who I
That was him.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I'm talking about Colin Farrell.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, who's the dude? Wait a minute. I gotta let's
No, go
consult
look
like
up
Google.
look up IMDb.
Let's do this
Yeah.
right now because I'm apparently getting myself. Colin Farrell. Oh, who am I thinking about? I'm thinking
I don't know.
about um Frank the Tank. Come on. Who is Frank the Tank? Come on now.
Mm.
That's oh my god. That's old school. Uh
But
why
also on my list, Keanu Reeves.
stop. Stop
That's
it.
that's Keanu
No.
Reeves. Yep.
No, I don't accept. Keanu Reeves knows who to be. He knows he is a California surfer bro, and that's the roles he plays. And I think he's playing to his strengths. And
John
he's
Travolta.
handsome. Yes, you can have him. That's fine. Not going to argue with you there. Will
John Travolta.
Ferrell. That's who I was thinking of. That's
Oh,
why I was
you know
like,
what?
don't talk about it. But it's not. So you didn't say
You know
him.
what? I'm not mad about Will Ferrell. I mean, I feel like I don't like his movies. That's not my comedy.
Mhm.
But I've seen him a couple of times where I thought to myself, like, he's not a bad actor. Um, oh man, there is somebody I'm forgetting because I have 9 right now. I'm like, where's my 10th person?
Hmm. Bad actor.
Where's my
Mm.
10th person? I mean, there's those obscure people, like you see them like once or twice, but I don't feel right. I want to do someone who's been in enough movies where it's just like, how do they keep getting a job? Like that person. You're like,
um,
all these talented people out here and you keep getting paid,
dang. You know
Like
who I kind of
Nicolas
feel
Cage falls into that trap. Like, how does he keep getting
I
jobs?
kind of feel like that about William Defoe.
I I don't I
Aside
don't
from his face being distinguished or distinguishing or whatever, I just don't
okay.
see him. I don't see it for him.
I mean,
I
I've seen him in a
really am not a
few
fan.
things, but
I'm sure he was in that one movie, wasn't he?
well, I mean, I've seen him in Spider-Man, and then I
Right.
saw and he was in Aquaman.
He was. He was
Uh,
okay. He looked, but he had a cast to carry him, so his presence
right.
wasn't like that make or break.
Yeah, I liked him
That's what
in
I'm saying. It's
I
like
liked him in Spider-Man though.
he was good in Spider-Man, and I liked him in Aquaman.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I'm kind of blanking on my 10th person right
Actor.
now, but we'll come back for it a little bit later. Um,
I
Someone
don't really
tried to
have
get
a
me when
list.
when I had this conversation on Facebook. Someone tried to convince me that Arnold Schwarzenegger should be on this list, but I will not put Arnold on this list. I
I'm
will
sorry.
not.
Let's make sure I've got this straight. Like you
Yes.
literally put half the cast of the Expendables on this goddamn list, but you're sparing the one who
No.
in fact can act, in fact has been not acting since the 70s.
Uh, First of
Just
all,
standing there
I will
like
not
this.
let you, throw this shade on Arnold Schwarzenegger like this.
You just
Uh,
shaded the entire hell out of Keanu Reeves, and we will not have that. Not
he-
his
here's
fine
here,
ass.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm one of those weird people that after I watch a movie, I go and give it a rating on IMDb.
Oh, you are weird. That's cute
Yep,
though.
I'm one of those weird people who does
That's
that.
good.
With that being said, I have less than 10 things that I've ever given a 9 to. Okay? I've never given out any tens.
Wait, you're just less
I've
than
never given
nine
out any
things.
tens. I've only given out about like 10 nines. One of my nines is a movie that has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
Which
He's the
one?
main actor.
Predator. You seem like
No,
okay.
no. Terminator 2.
That's such a good movie. Actually, I like all the Terminator, not all of them. I
I
like the
mean,
one, I like what is it, Annihilation with the other dude in it.
oh,
He's kind
Christian
of a
Bale.
his no, I don't remember what that guy's name is. Bless him, because he's had a rough stint with acting. He was
Yeah,
old boy from Avatar, and he was supposed to have like a certain kind of career trajectory.
yeah.
I don't think he had that, but I
I
liked.
mean, yeah, I like some of the other Terminator movies, but Terminator 2, I just feel like it's just a classic movie. And yeah, obviously he played a robot in the movie.
Mhm.
And so I mean all you have to do is be an emotionless kind of like but it worked. It was great. I loved him in the movie. I think he's not a good actor, but he's not the worst.
But then you have to say the same thing about Keanu Reeves, because Keanu Reeves also leans into who he is. Like he's not going to be,
Right.
a Wall Street banker. He's going
Right.
to
But have you ever
be,
seen Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad?
yes, of course I have.
At
Of
least
course I
Arnold
have.
Arnold was trying in that movie.
He
I've
was,
never I've never thought to myself Keanu's trying in any movie.
that is rude. I will not let you do this, because you see, the thing is, okay, so here's the thing, because you were not old enough, so you don't know. Like, so when Speed came out, it
Yeah.
was like, yo, like Keanu Reeves was here to knock on the door of your ovaries. Like he was here. Like he
Mm,
had busted out of that Bill and Ted shit. And he was like,
yeah.
yo, I'm a grown ass man with muscles. Look at me. Did you think? You didn't think, did you? Then he did A Walk in the Clouds, which is like one of my favorite movies, because it was like and I don't even like romance movies, but I love this one. And
Yeah.
he was good in that. You just he plays to his strengths. When he's deviated, it's been okay, It was a
Yeah.
risk. But when he's in his bag, that's where he shines. Like Point Break.
I might also have to put Daniel Craig in the bottom.
I'm not going to argue with you about Daniel Craig. He makes the same face. You know who else needs to go on this list?
Hmm.
What's that other boy who the
The
women
other
like?
Bond?
No. Uh
I mean, women like a lot of
the
people.
no,
That's a
it's
broad
that
term.
guy that makes the same face. Like,
I
what
mean,
is it?
that's a hard.
He was in Blade. Stop. He was
Oh,
in
he was in
Blade
Blade.
Runner.
Oh,
Blade
Blade
Runner.
Runner. You just talking about Gillen? No, not Gyllenhaal.
No.
Oh, what is his
He's
name?
that one that the white women love him. They're
Oh,
like,
I I
whatever his
think I
name
know
is.
who you're talking. Was he in that one like big musical a few years ago?
Yeah, La La Land that I
That
didn't
one.
watch. Whatever
Yeah,
his name is, Mr. La La Land. They love him. And I think
Ryan
he's trash.
Gosling. That's who it is.
Put him on that list too.
I can't put him on that list.
Yes, you can.
I can't.
He all he does is just make that face that
You know what? I have a soft spot for him because
what?
remember the Titans.
Really?
Listen, that movie has a special place in my heart.
You're not from Virginia.
Denzel Washington.
I thought you said he couldn't act and he plays the same character every
No, no,
time.
no, no. I said he is the same character in
No,
every
he is
movie.
not.
And if you are going to be the same character every movie, it might as well be good. And for him, it is. I'm okay with him being the same person every movie because he's
He's
good in
not
every
the
movie.
same person
Look,
every
Denzel can sell me himself in anything because I'm buying.
I'm
That's,
buying.
like,
Yeah,
I'm
buying.
buying. Like he is good in everything.
Like the
I have
Equalizer.
literally seen maybe like one movie of his that I did not like.
Which
Maybe,
one?
maybe. I wasn't really sold on the Book of Eli.
I love the Book of Eli.
I wasn't really sold on it. It just,
He was beating ass. I
I
don't
mean, I'm
know.
not saying he was bad. I wasn't sold on that movie. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay. Yeah, I didn't like the Bible aspect. Like, we want the Bible. That part was like, all right,
Because I
now.
felt like he went on like a 20-year run where
Yeah.
everything that he was in was good.
Mm-hmm.
Ricochet,
Yeah.
Manchurian Candidate. I mean Philadelphia. Hurricane.
Malcolm
I mean,
X.
yeah, Malcolm X. I mean, what was it? Was it The Bone Collector? Was that it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was in that. I mean,
Glory.
Antoine Fisher.
Antoine
Uh,
Fisher.
what was it? Man on Fire, Inside Man,
Yeah.
American Gangster, Training Day. I mean, like if the John Q. I mean, it was just like hit after hit after hit after hit. I was just like, the man can pick this. I mean, because you get as an actor, you're getting pitched all the time, right?
Yep.
He was just like lining them up and knocking them down. He was just like, this gonna be good, this gonna be good, this gonna be good, this gonna be good. I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes. I mean, even like dumber movies that like what was it? Pelham 1, 2, 3 or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, that was a remake.
Yeah. And then he was in another movie with the dude from Star Trek. Um, who was the guy?
William
Chris
Shatner?
Chris Pine. He was in a
Oh.
movie with Chris Pine. I
Huh.
forget what movie it was. But I mean, because Denzel's been in a lot of things, but
He's in tons of shit. It's hard to keep
I
track.
mean,
It's
he's like Samuel L. Jackson.
he's not as bad as Samuel L. Because Samuel L.
Right.
will do anything. Not like
Right.
that, but he'll be like, "Yeah, I'll be in this movie with the British children." Sure. It's like what? All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find this movie that Unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
It was a train movie.
Okay, I don't
I think it was
remember
like
that
a
one.
runaway train. Yeah, it was Denzel Washington and Chris Pine and Rosario Dawson were in
I
it.
never saw that.
Yeah.
See, what else? Who else needs to be added to this list of trash actors? You know who I'm going to
I was
personally
I was
say?
trying to do the list of good actors a while back, but that was tough.
That's hard because I mean I
That's
think
tough.
I would like to say Tom Hanks, but because I hate his son, I'm not going to give it to him.
Hmm. I mean, if I was gonna do the list of good actors, I'd have to start with people, not just people who are traditionally good, but
Mhm.
people who are overlooked. Like they're good in everything, but they don't really get as much credit.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Ewan McGregor kind of falls into that list.
Ooh.
Gary
But
Oldman
he's
falls into that list.
yeah, but feel like people give Gary Oldman his flowers. And I do think I'm gonna mess his name up. I was about to call him Ewan. What is it? Ewan McGregor?
Oh yeah,
Ewan
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
He is great because I believe he's the guy he was in Doctor Sleep, right?
Yeah.
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 And he tore that shit up. Fun fact, I was not going to watch that movie because I'm such a fan of The Shining that I was like, there's no way I will sully myself with this Doctor Sleep business. And oh my God, amazing.
Chiwetel Ejiofor or Ejiofor? I think that's how you say his
He
name.
yes, yeah.
Very
He's
underrated.
very good. Yeah.
Yeah, and very under. I think I'll never
He
forget
was
watching
Kinky
him in
Boots.
12 Years a Slave.
Oh my God.
That
I've only
movie
yeah.
is, I mean, it's powerful, but I feel like
Mhm.
he delivered it.
He really did. That I
Yeah,
mean, that was I've only watched that movie one time because there's some things
because
like I
it's some things you can't see twice.
don't need to see it more than once. But you know, his performance was definitely noteworthy. Next to Lupita's.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
even Michael Fassbender. You know, it was tough watching him. I'm not gonna lie. I had to think about other things that I will not say on this here program to get me through.
those I gotta tell you, I watched those Fox X-Men movies, and Fassbender and the other guy, I forget, it's also in those movies,
I don't know
but
who you're talking about.
those two are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't really see it for Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett, I don't think she's a good actress.
I don't at all.
No.
She's just got that. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know what she has that is so
No,
appealing.
who's the actress who's in the Hunger Game movies?
Oh, Jennifer Lawrence.
She's
Jesus Christ.
she's one of those people where I like her, but she's also the same person in every movie.
Yeah. Just, I'm a mess. You know, that gets, I'm a mess. Like that shit gets on my
Oh, the
nerves.
actor I was thinking of is James McAvoy.
Who the hell is that?
Have you ever seen Split?
Yes.
That's him.
Okay.
Yeah, he was also in the
He,
X-Men movies, but yeah.
yeah, he was. Okay. Yeah. I know who you're talking about now. And who's another actor that I don't really see it for? Hmm.
I gotta tell you, I mean, Mahershala is big now, but for a while there, he was floating underneath the radar.
He was. He
Yeah, I mean,
really
I loved
was.
him in Luke Cage.
He was so good in Luke Cage.
Yeah,
I'm
and
really disappointed that they canceled it.
yeah, and what was it? Who's the actress who played Mariah in that movie in that show? She's a well-known actress.
Is that the police officer? Oh no,
Um,
no, Alfred Woodard. That's who you're talking about. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yeah, she
Alfred
is
Woodard.
great.
Mm-hmm.
She is. I mean, she had a
She's
few
great in
scenes in
everything.
that show where I was just like, it's like, why do I not see her in more movies?
She's good. I don't know what she's up to, but she's
But
definitely. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, like that's the kind of talent you won all the movies.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I
Mm.
mean, like, I'm glad that more black women are getting chances now. You see, like Lupita's in more things, Octavia's in more things, Viola Davis is in more things. But
Viola Davis. They were just people on Twitter were giving her flowers the other day, and I was like, good. She deserves it every day of her life to know that she
mhm,
is loved by us.
yeah, but yeah, I would definitely put her in that list.
Yeah.
Just people who need
More shine.
more roles. You know.
You
So
know, I agree.
yeah, yeah, making the good list. I feel like that would take a little bit.
I feel like the good list is probably a little easier, but I have a hard time categorizing actors. Like I remember who they are and I can say if I like them or not, but as far as
Right,
like who's my favorite or a favorite, I can possibly get through favorite movies, but
right.
asking me to do a favorite actor, I have a hard time.
Yeah, I think probably for me it's easier to do underrated, and I
Hmm.
think most underrated and not given enough acting jobs in my mind, person maybe at the top of that list is fucking Jamie Foxx.
Oh man. You
Yes,
think he needs more roles?
Jamie Foxx does not get enough credit. Yo,
Are
Jamie
you
Foxx,
sure?
I'm serious. You seen Jamie Foxx's IMDb? That man is not getting that many roles.
I know. I don't know what's up with that, but he's going to be Mike Tyson.
Good. They need Jamie Foxx to be in more movies.
He does, but I think it might be the Oscar curse, where it's like harder to find films that fit you after you do such a dynamic job and win,
Yeah.
but I also think maybe he's trying to pick his films a little more carefully.
Because I don't think he's Denzel or Mahershala, but I feel like he's not too far behind them.
He's not, because Jamie Foxx is a triple threat. Like, he can sing, he can act, and he's funny. Like,
Yeah.
very few people have all three of those,
No.
you
I
know?
mean, no, he's incredibly talented.
Yeah.
And he's a good he's not one of those actors where you're just putting him in the movie because it's a big name. It's like, no, he's a good talent on top
Yeah.
of being a big name. I'm just
Right.
like, get this man in more stuff.
I think he should definitely be in more shit. I don't know why or what's up with that, but the only thing I can think is that it might be a little challenge for him with that, with the Oscar. And
Yeah.
also, maybe he's trying to be a little more selective and just pick movies that he knows that he can really knock it out of the park.
Well,
I
the
don't know.
nerd in me is just glad that he's coming back to Marvel this year.
How is
But
he coming back to Marvel, or
he's
in
going to
what
be in the new
capacity?
Spider-Man movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is my thing. And you, because
Yeah.
you're
I'm
this is
in
your
it. I'm in
this
it.
is your judge. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put this out.
Yeah.
I just feel like I am Spider-Man, Superman, Batman to damn death. I don't need to see not a Batman. I don't need that shit. Pick somebody else. I
Yeah.
feel like it's been I don't feel like we should be so married to these tropes of like Superman and all this crap. Like, to me,
Yeah.
my Superman was what's his face? I'm
What
blanking.
guy from the 70s?
Don't do Christopher Reeves like this. Don't
Wait,
disrespect Christopher Reeves.
is that who you're talking about?
Yes, that's exactly who I'm talking about. That's exactly
Uh,
who I'm talking about.
I'm
He
just saying.
was Superman to
That
me.
was a long time ago.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I was he was so handsome. He was
There's never been a
tall.
better one.
Never. He
No,
was
because
just
I feel like the people who make those movies, they just keep doing dumb shit with them. Like I liked Henry Cavill, but I feel like they didn't give him
Henry
good writing.
Cavill can't act.
They give him okay.
Put him on that list. Can't act. I am tired of him too, making that same. I just came from the gym with musty prior. I'm tired of that shit. He just
Okay.
looks like I am Mr. Bathroom Selfie with the same face, and I'm tired.
I I have a good spot for him because I heard a story about a time where he was eating in like a restaurant like here in Montana, right? And the owner of the restaurant went up and talked to him,
Mhm.
said, "Hey, like like my son loves you in the Superman movies, this, that, and the other, and like Henry Cavill was like, oh, okay, that's really cool." And then like apparently like right before he left a note for the guy to give to his son where it said like, "Hey, your dad's the real Superman," signed Henry Cavill.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, so
Okay,
I was like, okay, okay.
but he
And I
can't
felt like
act though.
I, I don't even know if he can or not because I feel like he was okay in The Witcher.
Was he?
He's okay. He's not on the bottom 10 list. He's not with Eddie Redmayne.
Leave Eddie Redmayne alone. At least Eddie Redmayne gives you the feeling like he may cry. Like, at any moment in the middle, he'd be like and just start crying.
God,
Doesn't he?
I can't do it with
His
Eddie
lip
Redmayne.
always quivering. I'm like, what are you about to cry about? This is not even what the situation calls for.
Nah, yeah, I just can't do it. But like for me, I'm not tired of Superman, Batman, Spider-Man.
I
It's a
am.
matter of is that the only thing you're giving me, or are you giving me that with other stuff? Because like Marvel's given you that on top of Ms. Marvel and Shang-Chi and Black Widow
Yeah,
and
man.
I mean like it's not like it's like the only it's like one of like 10 things. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so like with when it comes like that, you know, it's like, yeah, I'll watch another Spider-Man movie. I mean, the last one was good. That's
I
just me
just
though.
want to see something else. Like,
And they and they gave you WandaVision this year, Loki, like they gave
they
you Black
did.
Captain America.
They
And
did.
so, I mean,
But they also gave Wonder Woman 84, which
That movie was terrible.
You could have just left. You could have left me. You could have just left us there.
That movie was terrible.
Because what is this mess? I didn't even want. It was like what, 15 hours? I was like, no thanks, girls. Nope. I won't be doing this because I
You know,
could tell this isn't good.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I grew up watching that animated like Justice League television show. Like when
Oh,
I think I was like 10 or 11, and that version of Wonder Woman in that show, I always like grew up thinking that that was Wonder Woman. And then when Gal Gadot got cast as Wonder Woman, I was just like, I just don't think you're the right person to play this role.
and I
She's just too
believe,
timid. I'm sorry,
yeah, like,
you're too timid. You're too kind of like you. I don't know. Wonder Woman's supposed to be like an aggressive badass. Like you like trying to fight everybody,
yeah,
basically.
she's just like, I'm pretty, but I don't think I am. And I'm like, okay, girl, I, but I can dodge bullets with these bracelets. I mean, I was never,
Yeah,
I
just not
liked
the
Wonder
right person.
Woman. It's not, she's not, she wasn't my personal favorite, but I respected her. Like I
I mean,
respected her
I'm
hustle.
glad there's a Wonder Woman movie. I like
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. There should be
I
a
would
Wonder
like to
Woman movie.
make a show about the Black Wonder Woman though, who was
Yeah.
Wonder Woman's sister, who was made from coal, I think. I'd like to see what's up with her.
Hey, I'm all about it. I'm like, tell more stories. I mean, that's actually the problem you're talking about with like, oh, another Batman movie. Oh no, like that is straight DC. Like they keep making the same stuff
Yeah.
over and over again. Like
Aquaman was good.
I liked Aquaman. I mean, I mean, the thing about it is, I watch a lot of animated stuff, and
Mhm.
DC has a lot of characters. They got a lot of them. But when it comes to their live action movies, they just don't make those movies. And I'm
They
just like
don't.
why not? But I mean, it seems like they're doing a little bit more now. They're talking about they're going to do a Black Superman movie, which
Oh Lord, I'm sure the whites are losing their shit.
they
I'm sure
are.
they are imploding. Like they were losing it about the Little Mermaid. They're like, Ariel is mermaids are white.
Yeah, Donald Glover was talking about the time where he floated the idea of him being Spider-Man and how he got death threats.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so, yeah, but I'm glad that DC is doing it anyway. And they're putting a Hispanic girl in as the new Supergirl.
Okay. I
Yeah, so
like that too because I'm sick of Supergirl being blonde haired and blue eyed,
so
tired.
they showed her like in her costume. She's gonna be in the new Flash movie.
Yes. There's going to be a Flash movie. Did you
Yeah.
ever watch the show, The Flash?
Yes. I watched it last night.
Oh. I'm not saying I'm it's not. I was just because I haven't watched it in a long time. I think the last episode I watched was like the musical, and I was like, all right, that's enough. I
No,
can't do this like teeny
no.
bop. I'm grown. I can't do this
Yeah.
stuff with like,
Yeah.
I'm in love you, but but I don't want to be with you right now. I don't have time for that shit.
No. No, I've had a love-hate relationship with all those CW shows because
But the
it's
CW, don't you remember when it was our time though? Well, not our time because you were younger than me, but when
you
it
mean
was,
when it was the WB? Yeah, no,
yes.
I remember. Yeah, I remember. I mean, but yeah, the CW like DC shows, I mean, I like them,
They're
but like
corny as hell. It's all about
it's way
angsty.
too soap opera.
Yeah, it's angsty, but how will I ever get him to notice me? And I'm just like, look, I'm through that phase
It's
of
a
my
sh-
life.
it's a shame though because the actors and actresses that have come through that Flash show, they're almost all good, with like
Hmm.
one or two exceptions. I mean, they're all good.
Hmm.
And you don't really see that too often in a television show where like if you have a show that has 10 to 12 recurring characters and like top to bottom, they're all solid as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, so I really appreciated that. Where I just
Yeah.
felt like and for a while there the writing was solid too, but then it kind of just dropped off a little bit. But
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I'm glad to see everybody has a job. I was watching, what was the show about the girl that was a zombie eating brains?
no,
You
nope.
didn't
I
like
see.
that?
No,
Okay.
no. I,
Okay.
I never told you my thing about zombies.
No.
I can't
What's
do
your
it with zombies
you can't do zombie. Okay.
in any fashion. any
All
movie,
right.
any TV show, no
Damn.
zombies. Of
Wow.
all the monsters or
Wow.
potential apocalypses, zombies are at the bottom of every list.
Wow. This is
Can't do it. I
strong.
I, I cannot stand
Okay.
zombies.
We don't
Sorry.
have to talk about it. Oh, you were like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. All righty.
Oh,
I
I
don't
Zombie.
love,
Yeah, that's what the show is called.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I
no,
Zombie. Yeah.
yeah,
I thought that was kind of a cute show for the,
yeah.
I could
No,
stand it.
I saw it had a good run, but
You were
no,
like, nope.
no, I couldn't do it. What was it? I mean, some of like the non-DC shows that I watched on CW, I think, my girlfriend got me to watch two shows with her. Jane the Virgin
Oh, yeah.
and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
I didn't watch that.
She got me to watch both of those shows from beginning to end. So Jane was all right. It was okay. I
I didn't
mean,
watch it.
it
That
was
wasn't
okay.
my bag.
I mean, Jane as a main character. I mean, I felt like she's the main character of the show, but I felt like she was also always self-sabotaging the show. So there's a lot of times where I was just like, man, this show would be good if she wasn't in it.
Oh, wow. But it's named after her. And you're like,
I know.
but should
But
it
the
be?
but like all the other actors and actresses in that show, I mean, they were good. They were solid. But anyway,
This has been, a very informative detour. And I would just like to say that, because I don't really have a lot of time to watch as much TV at the
yeah,
moment. I'm mostly just rewatching the same things that I've watched 15 million times.
yep.
Like Watchmen. Like I can just go back and watch that over and over again and think about all the possibilities of what it could have been for the second season that we will never get to have.
I think about that all the time. I have the most boring show. It's not. I don't think it's boring, but girlfriend tells me it's boring. That I've rewatched like 5 times. There's only 2 seasons of it.
What?
It's called Marco Polo.
Oh, that's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Is it good?
I mean, I
Why
like
do you
it.
keep watching it?
I can't explain it to you. Like like there's some movies that you can just rewatch over and over and over again. They just never get old.
Yeah.
It just I don't know. I just call it like a rewatch factor. I guess you would just say. I mean, that
Mhm.
show for me, I don't get bored of it.
I feel the same way about New Girl. I don't get bored rewatching old episodes of New Girl.
Yeah.
I can perfectly fine with that.
Yeah. So if I'm
Just to
like
get the
in that mood that you're in, where I'm just like, I don't want to watch something new. I'm just gonna put on something I've seen before. I can just restart Marco Polo, and it never gets old. Oh,
yeah, that's how
and
I
the
feel.
the guy who's like the main actor in the show, Benedict Wong.
Hmm.
I just really like him in that show. He plays Kublai Khan. You've heard of it's called Genghis Khan. And
Yes.
yeah, okay. Well, I guess the actual pronunciation is Genghis. But anyway, so Genghis Khan, his grandson, Kublai Khan, I guess while he was, and this is actually like historical fact, while he was overseeing the Mongol Empire, it was like the largest in world history.
Hmm.
And so the show kind of centers like is a fictional style of like of what kind of the events took around that spot. But
So I'm not gonna lie to you. When you first said it, I thought you were talking about like something that had to do with Cobra Kai. And I
oh
was
my
like,
god,
oh wow, okay, I don't know what he's talking about. But that's not what you were, that's not what happened. But yeah, I'm
no,
just saying where I was. And
yeah,
okay, it's
okay,
fine.
okay,
We're
okay.
fine.
I've seen Cobra Kai.
I haven't watched it.
I like Cobra Kai.
I've heard about
I never saw the
Daniel
Karate
San
Kid.
is kind of a dude. Excuse me.
I've never seen the Karate Kids.
Well, everybody, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us here at the Crossroads. But Desmond has to go.
Cobra Kai is great though. Cobra Kai is
No,
great.
no, 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 no. We're not gonna. You're not. No, no. What? What do you mean? What do you mean? You have never
I have never seen the Karate Kids.
kids
I've
like you.
no, I've never any of the movies. There's like 4 of them, right?
Yes.
There's 4 of them.
The
Yeah, I haven't seen
first
any of
two
them.
are the only ones I give a shit about. But sure.
Yeah, so I haven't seen 1, 2, 3, or the 4th one that had what's that actress's name?
Jaden Smith.
No, that was the reboot. It's like I said,
Oh
second movie.
yeah.
That's fifth one. No, the fourth one had Hilary Swank in
What?
it.
Oh, that's right. That was the third one.
That was the fourth one.
No, it wasn't. It was the third one.
IMDb. It's the fourth one. I'm just telling.
Because the first one was when he met the girl and he got beat up, and then he put him
She
in the
comes.
body bag. That
She,
one.
she comes back in Cobra Kai.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the second one was when he went, this is the part that but he went over to Japan,
Right.
and Hollywood made it so that like this white man can go over to Japan and beat the ass of the best fighter that they have in their village, which I don't subscribe to. And then the third one,
It looks like in the third one he joins Cobra Kai.
what? I thought the
Yeah.
third one was when he was with Hilary Swank.
No, she's in the fourth one. I got it pulled up right here.
Oh shit. The
Yeah,
third one must have been
came out
terrible.
in 1989, and then the Hilary Swank one came out in 1994.
Okay. The third one must have been trash because I don't remember it.
It has a 36 ranking on Metacritic.
Sounds about right. That's why I don't remember it. I was like, there was a third one?
Yeah, not looking good.
I remember when Daniel had to go try to get a bonsai because he lost. Bonsai. Yeah. He's like, I have to get, and he almost fell.
He's got a whole room full of bonsai trees in Cobra Kai.
Really?
They gotta watch the show. I feel like as someone who never watched the original movies, I can tell how much they put into the show to make it like it's like they got callbacks on callbacks. Like I was learning about what was happening in the Karate Kid movies from watching Cobra Kai the show.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they were just like,
I mean, it doesn't excuse you. It does not excuse the fact that you've never watched.
I've been told this before. There are some classic movies that I have never seen.
Like what?
That every time that I tell someone that I have not seen it, they lose the color in their face. They're like, "You haven't seen this? Oh
what?
My
Give
God.
me an example. Give me an example. Another one. Desmond, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What have you been doing?
I've never seen The Godfather. I've never seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh no. Nope. Hang up. We will not be doing this up in here. That
Jaws, The Shining.
Get off. That's it. That is it. I want to thank everybody for coming to the crowd. Thank you for joining. Yes, I'm your host, Rashida, and this is enough because this is full on like an assault on my spirit, my childhood. Like, what are you talking about? That you've never watched The Shining, and you sat there as we talked about Dr. Sleep and just acted like you'd seen it. Like you were like,
that's what you have to do in these conversations.
No, it is not, because that's lying. It's lying. It doesn't matter. I would have looked at you less crazy if you had not been like, oh, Dr. Sleep. And then now here to be like, I've never watched The Shining. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Right. But when you told me you hadn't seen, Cobra Kai, I wasn't like, what are you doing with your life? How have you not seen Cobra Kai? You got to stop what you're doing right now. Turn on Netflix.
Because I've watched the originals. I don't need to watch the Cobra Kai show.
See, that's where you're wrong, though, because the story is not complete yet.
This doesn't excuse the fact that you've not watched The Shining. Like, we're not going to, or One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Did you read the book?
No. I've meant to watch it. My girlfriend tried to get me to watch it, but I haven't watched it.
I own it. I own One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest. Read the book in high school. Ken Kesey.
I mean, there are some movies that I own that I have yet to watch. Yeah, it happens like that sometimes.
Desmond, I'm finding myself very upset. Like, I really thought this would be just, I was like, oh, this is cute. We'll just record this and then I'll just throw it up there, like a little bonus. And then now with this almost like slap in the face, I
didn't say they were bad movies. I said I haven't seen them.
But you have to watch them. Like, you have to.
I know.
No, I mean, like, now.
I mean, now I'm gonna go watch Black Widow. That's about to happen.
No, you need to go watch The Shining. It's late.
I I have. It's late where you're at. The sun's still out over here.
Oh my God.
No, it is. The sun's still
Damn.
out. But yeah. So I mean, no, I'm Marvel fan first and foremost. Not first and foremost, but like I got an addiction. I have an addiction, so I gotta see the new
Ah,
Marvel movie.
okay, good.
See,
Clarifying.
yeah.
Excellent.
So I gotta know what happens next. It's a long story, you know. So it's like it's a television show. That's what it is.
I just, I'm, I cannot believe that you have not watched like The Shining.
Yeah.
Okay, so quick story. I can't even tell you the first time I watched The Shining because I've watched it so many times, like as a child, and I couldn't figure out why I liked it so much. Like it never made sense. But anytime the movie came on, I would watch it. I bought it. I
Yeah.
remember when we had a massive snowstorm here, snow apocalypse. I watched it. I was like, let's watch The Shining. Like there's always a reason to watch it. And then I watched the documentary on Netflix called
Yeah.
Room 227, and it
Okay.
was basically just like people's commentary on what they thought The Shining meant and what all the symbols, and it blew my mind. I had to pause it halfway because I was like, yo, like it was just too much
Yeah.
information. And like that kind of helped me get centered and realize that I have a serious like love for horror and needing to understand and explore why I liked it so much. And that movie, The Shining, and also the documentary and other things that I've read since have kind of helped me put that in perspective. So it's like the fact that you have not watched it is upsetting me and my homegirl. Like you need to watch. Like you have to. That's craziness. You need to
You
watch The
know,
Godfather.
I I don't know what it is, but for a long time I didn't watch movies, and this is gonna tie into all of them. I didn't
Okay.
watch movies that came out before I was born.
But there's some good ones that like for
It was just it was a weird like era I was going through, and then I finally broke that,
good.
and but I just but I'm the kind of person now where I rewatch more stuff that I've seen before than I watch new stuff. So like
Hmm.
I only occasionally watch something that I haven't seen before versus like I rewatch stuff that I've seen before all the time.
I love rewatching.
I mean, like last night I was watching this like show that I fell in love with as a kid, and I watched a few episodes of that before I went to bed.
Mm.
So that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
there's like I have a long list of movies I'm like, "Oh, I should watch these." But then like I never sit down and actually like commit to it. Cuz when I watch a movie, I'm not like one of those people who like is like on their phone or on their tablet
Oh,
or
sometimes I
getting up.
am.
Like I'm not that person. When I watch, I'm like I'm in it. Like no
Hmm.
moving, no like getting up for snacks. I mean, I'm in the movie or the show until it's done. You know?
It
It's
depends. I was starting to get into Manifest, that
yeah.
show Manifest on Netflix. Um, and it was okay. And then I just kind of lost interest. It's hard now. So I do find myself going back and watching shows that I've already watched because I know it's going to be entertaining to me and I can,
Right.
get something out of it.
Yeah,
Whereas
it's
new
comforting
shows,
that way.
yeah, because
Yeah,
there's so
I
much change and so many things are going away or whatever. And you're like, I just
right.
want to watch something
Like
I'm
I've built
familiar with.
relationships with these shows, and now the show is over. Like I loved Luke Cage. I rewatched that like
Oh,
a month and a half ago. I
I need
love
to
Luke
rewatch
Cage
that.
because I was just like, you know, I was glad that there was so much hype around Black Panther, but Black Panther came out the same year that Luke Cage started, and I was like, why didn't
Hmm.
Luke Cage get all this praise?
I don't know.
All black cast,
Yeah.
like great story, great acting. I mean,
Music.
yeah. I mean, I was just like, I was like Mike Coulter is the name of the actor, and then
Hmm.
like was it Simone? I forget what her last name is, but she plays
Yeah.
Misty Knight.
Hmm.
That is like Misty Knight is one of my favorite
Misty
like
Knight
comic
is
book
like the
characters.
bad bitch
Period.
of all time.
I
She
love her in those
is
shows. And
the
I'm just like, why is
baddest.
this show not getting its like it's just not getting enough like praise, you
Yeah, I
know?
really was surprised that, and I was because I just started to get kind of into the backstory of like I think it's called, I'm gonna get the name wrong, but it's like Hands for Hire, what Luke
Oh
Cage
yeah,
and
yeah, and then it's
that white boy.
Iron Fist.
Yeah,
It's Heroes for Hire.
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Hands for Hire.
You close. It's
I was
close.
close. I was in the
Yeah.
ballpark. But yeah, I was hoping they were gonna explore more of that, and then like,
Yeah.
Misty Night and
And they did an episode on it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
they
I
did
was
one
like,
episode on it, but that was about it.
and I really have to say, like, I don't like Iron Fist. Like, I thought it was cute
No
for the
one
70s.
no one really
Like,
liked Iron
don't
Fist.
bring me no white boy talking about I'm from Kung Lung and I got, I'm the baddest and I went over just the same thing with the Karate Kid. You
I
gonna
mean,
go over to another imaginary country and beat the baddest person they have there. I don't believe you.
I just when it came to Iron Fist, I felt like the reason why it struggled was because this guy's supposed to be the number one like martial artist, right? But the dude Daredevil was a better martial artist.
Oh
And so
yeah.
it's kind of hard to be like I'm the best, but meanwhile the blind dude's over here whooping your
Beating
ass.
ass. Beating
And
ass.
so
Blind.
but with all that being said, I watched both seasons of Iron Fist. I felt like the show
Oh
got
my
better in
God.
season 2. And so I was under the idea I was like, "All right, well you got better, so maybe you'll get better in the third season." Like I was willing to keep going. I didn't hate the show and I thought that the other actors and actresses in the show, I thought they was good too. But
Yeah.
on the totem pole, it was definitely number 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't watch The Punisher because that just ain't my thing.
It's too much. I could get through some of it, but I was like, all right, you just over there fighting and covered in blood, and I don't like it, so I'm gonna
I
turn this off.
don't, yeah, just a dude with a machine gun just shooting
Shooting
people.
people. I'm like, no, thank you.
I'm like, nah, I'm not. That
I'll
ain't my thing.
pass.
I've
Yeah,
never been
it's
in
not
those
my
movies.
bag. Mm-mm.
But
That whole like what was that guy's? You were not even gonna remember him because it was from an actor from the 70s. But basically, like, was it Charlton Heston? No, not Charlton Heston. It'll randomly come up, and I'll remember it. But
yeah,
basically, that theme of this guy gets his family in harm's way, and he breaks the law and becomes a vigilante and kills everybody.
Taken.
No, it was I have to
But the
look it
same
up. It's
idea
a
though.
movie. Yeah, it's the exact same idea, but it's an old movie from like the 70s. That's why I know for a fact that you will not remember what it is.
Nope, was not alive. I wasn't alive in the '80s either.
I mean, are you just trying to like what's up? Like, are you upset? What is it? Is it something I said? Is it because I got on my live and I blamed you for my internet? I mean, it is like your fault though.
I mean, I laughed when I saw that. I literally,
But
I dropped my phone. I was laughing so hard.
you're like, I just like I didn't know what else to do because I had I was in my room where I have a nice like background and I
Sheeta,
was
I
like,
am trying to help you out.
no, you're not.
Call Spectrum. Call Spectrum and get that internet. Get that internet. They have 100 meg speeds.
don't even know what that means.
It is your download speed. So it's your ability to take stuff off the internet, which is basically more or less what everyone thinks of as like, like how good your internet quality is.
Oh, maybe what I was thinking too. Maybe if I got like a second router, because I was like, maybe the signal just needs to be stronger.
There's two things you can do typically. I mean, if you're not gonna get a better service, then you should plug your stuff in.
To
Like
the wall?
no, like Ethernet cord.
That's to the wall.
No, it plugs into the router.
Oh,
So you
but
plug the Ethernet cord from your computer into the router.
but Desmond, my
That's
router,
my computer's plugged in the router right now.
it is.
Yeah.
Mine's too far away. My router is in my living room. And
Um,
yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean that I made this setup like that so I could have this computer plugged in
Oh.
because my Wi-Fi speed is like 40, but my Ethernet speed is 115.
Hmm.
So it's like damn near triple.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I'm just like when it comes to like stuff like this, I'm like I don't even want to play games.
I don't blame you. And I okay, fine. I'm really, you know what? I don't even have like the strength anymore to argue with you about my internet. Like, it's just one of those things that for
Yeah.
whatever reason you have decided it's like this is your thing. That
You
you're
know,
like,
you bring this up more than me now, right?
no, I don't.
you
No, I
brought
do
it
not.
you brought it up twice today.
Did I? I
Yeah,
did. I did. Yes. I brought
yeah,
it
you
up.
did. I just defended myself. I was like, well, if
Because
you're gonna bring
it's
it up.
it's funny. It's like every single time I look at my router or anytime
Yeah,
anything, like even if it's just it has nothing to do with, I'm just
yeah.
like, damn Desmond. Every time. Desmond's jinxing my shit. Every time. It's funny to me. So that's why I
Yeah.
bring it up all the time.
No, for real though, I gotta get a new router. No, the signal strength is like dropping. Because like
Oh.
before I used to be able to get like I was saying like I get 40 with my Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be able to get 40 in the other room. Now I can only get 40 on Wi-Fi if I'm in this room. So like
That's
it's just not pushing the Wi-Fi signal strong enough across the apartment.
yeah. That's why I was like, maybe I should just get a second one if that would help. But I don't know
Well,
if it
I
will.
mean, not a second one, just replace the one you got. Because I think
It's
that, you know,
brand new.
look, this is actually a great episode topic is
What?
manufactured obsolescence. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I mean, that is a real thing. And I know that there's so many different angles to it, but just the environmental angle of it.
Yeah, like e-waste, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I should do an episode about e-waste.
Because it's insane that they literally design a lot of these machines,
To
especially like
break.
computers. I mean, yeah, to
Hmm.
like 2 or 3 years, done. And
Born to
then
die.
yeah, they're designed to kind of just like to fade out afterwards so that you have to go and get another one.
Hmm. Yeah, which
Right.
is annoying as hell.
Right.
My
That's
cousin was
exactly what I think I'm
racking
dealing
on
with right
me.
now.
What are you dealing with?
With the router.
Technology. Yeah, it's
I got it 3 years ago today. Well, not today, but 3 years ago, like this month. And so I'm sure it's probably like, oh well, time to crap out.
time to crash.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Meanwhile, the router that I bought in like 2010, I had that for 7 years, and it never went bad. I just wanted to get a new one.
hmm.
You
It's
know what I'm
like
saying?
it's just really I think every time I think about technology and like the advancements or changes in it, I just think about that Dr. King speech when he was talking about the ills of advancement in technology. Just how we are never satisfied, and that's like part of our undoing.
I mean, I've had a lot of thoughts recently about capitalism,
Mm-hmm.
and the thoughts always lead me to they're a real anti what my message more or less is. Because my message to everybody has always been like, you know, if we all get together and try to get more involved, we'll
Mm-hmm.
dig ourselves out of this problem.
Right.
But whenever I think about capitalism, I think about it like to its end conclusion, it just feels like we've turned every single thing into a way to make profit. And when you do that on every single aspect of society, I mean, it feels like everything that I think about has some level of corruption attached to it.
Mm.
Everything. Everything. I mean, like, I can't think of anything in any industry right now that doesn't have some level of a corruption attached to it. And it makes perfect sense why people want to check out of politics because it's just like everything is tainted.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, you can't bring up anything that's just like, oh, these people are using it this way to benefit themselves financially, which is having this negative impact on these people.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything. And it's just like, I mean, it gets overwhelming after a while. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's why I know for me, it was very difficult to stay involved politically, with the last administration, because it's like it's so much buffoonery going on that it's hard to even be able to be present enough to
You
focus
know
on like
what?
the issues.
I honestly, on some ways, almost think that it's easier during a Republican administration.
Really? To
And
focus on the issues?
let me tell you why. Because when people say that the media is more or less liberal, they're not entirely wrong about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when when the White House is occupied by conservative, the media sheds light everywhere on all the injustices going on in the country because it's a
Mm-hmm.
chance to negatively impact the Republican president. But now we know that mostly all the things that are going on during the Trump administration are still going on, but the media is absolutely silent. They're
Mm-hmm.
crickets. And so finding all the same information about all the different things that are going on in our country right now gets a lot harder because they're just not covering it. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
New York Times has gone silent for the most part. The Washington Post has gone silent. CNN has gone silent. MSNBC has gone silent. ABC has gone silent. So it's just like, it just feels like the blinders get turned on. While Trump was in office, it felt like if you wanted to find information about something messed up in our country, you could find it simply. Someone
You
was writing
could.
about it. Someone was
Yeah.
writing about it. Someone's covering it. No problem. Now, good luck. Going through the news, like the last like few months, has been like I just struggle to find like what am I supposed to be talking about? Like there's just like they're just not covering anything right now. I mean, don't tell me there aren't mess up things happening in our country. There's no way that Joe Biden takes office and then,
Look, he
you
goes
know,
to bed at 7. I'm sure there's plenty of shit that's happening after he's, down for the night.
yeah, I mean, there's just no way that like the country was on the brink of extinction in November of 2020, and then you fast forward 6 months and now
And
we're
we're
all
like,
good.
we're fine.
We're all good.
I just booked
Yeah.
my flight on Spirit. Yeah. Fucking Spirit. Oh man.
Oh my god.
Look, we've
So
all done it.
that's my whole thing where I'm just like it bothers me that there's such a night and day difference.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, don't try to tell me that climate change is going to burn down the planet, and then when Joe Biden's in office, all of a sudden now he doesn't have a single piece of climate change like legislation coming from his administration or that's being drafted or not saying drafted, but that's being considered in either chamber of Congress, and yet there is zero coverage of that in the media. None.
Yeah.
None.
Or like, where do we stand with this wall? Like, what's up with that? Like, what's going to happen? Seeing,
Crickets.
yeah, like we actually
What's
have
been
to
going
be
on
able
with
to
the
talk
police
about that.
brutality bills that we were talking about a year ago?
Oh man, where's that? Where is
Where is it?
that? Hmm.
Exactly. Where is it? That's what I'm
Where is
saying.
it?
The news has literally just turned itself off. They're
Yeah, they're
like, well,
like, woo, thank God. God
yeah,
damn. But it's like, no, we need to still be informed. Like, even though I feel like at least there's some decency where people can go to the White House and not be served McDonald's and shit. But at the same time, like, he did that. That actually
I know.
happened
No, I saw it. I saw it. It was
on
like
like,
the Clemson like football team, I think it was. Um,
you think they can't go get a 10 piece themselves in comfortable clothes? I'll be damned if I'm dressed like I'm fitting to go on a church retreat and you feed me McDonald's in the White House that slaves built. We're not going to do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I said all that.
yeah.
How do we end
Nah,
up doing this? How the hell do we end up on how?
I
This
don't know.
happens every time.
Well, to be fair, this time I told myself that I was gonna let you stop
Why you do that?
it.
Why? I'm just
Because
gonna be like doo 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 boop doo doo.
because I was figuring, I was just like, well, honestly, I was just kind of curious to see how long it would go. I ain't got nothing else to do tonight. This is like the last 3 days of my break. Once we off the phone here, I'm watching Black Widow. I'm probably gonna play some video games
You
because then
sound really excited.
Monday I got to get back to like podcast work. So I mean I'm gonna be in it until December 20th.
In
So
what? Oh, in podcast mode?
well, like in season. I mean,
Yeah.
when I'm in season, I'm in it every day. So I mean, I'm doing something podcast related every day. Like when I get done with my real job. So I mean, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this last few days.
You enjoy yourself.
I'm gonna
I
enjoy
know how that
myself.
felt when I was on vacation and
Yeah,
I was enjoying myself. Now vacation is over and I am back here,
right. And I'm
not
hoping that
on vacation.
get you on the private prisons episode on my podcast.
I will
And
definitely do the private prisons on your what angle do you want to come from, do you think, for that? Do you
well,
know? Do you want to We don't have to give people all the game.
I
It could be a
mean,
surprise.
honestly, I'm not entirely sure just yet. I think it probably will start with just informing people of what they need to know, because a lot of times people, when they hear about this, they just have real basic information. So my first angle is always to kind of like give more of an in-depth analysis, like this is what's going on, this is
Mm-hmm.
how long it's been going on for, this is how it affects the communities at large, this is how it's, this is how it's affecting sentencing and so on and
Mm-hmm.
so forth. And then we can probably just transition a little bit into some other topics, because as we figured out today, there's so many other topics that can branch off of that.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
probably figure out what those branches will be later. I think as I start doing some more research, they'll probably become more obvious
You know,
about
I
what they'll
think
be.
I think the something that I was thinking about that I didn't get to say was really about the other ways that there's just a clear attack on the poor, which is really through cash bail system, but
Yes.
also through
That could be its
the
own episode,
oh
honestly.
yeah, and we can talk. I got cash bail like
Yeah.
I used to, yeah, but also just like the phone systems,
Yeah.
that's another very easy way for just money just to be very easily siphoned.
Oh my God. Yeah. Making people pay for the to be on the
Mm-hmm.
phone. Yeah.
Yep.
I've seen that. That is
It's
crazy.
crazy. It's really,
Mm.
really crazy. And if you look at like maps of like where communities where they're pooling a lot of their money into the cash bail system,
Yeah.
it's usually black and brown low income communities.
Right.
So
You know, Besides that, though, I think I told you this the previous time when we spoke.
mhm.
The episode that I would really like to have you on for, because I feel like it's in your wheelhouse a little bit more, is Cancer Alley episode.
Oh,
I feel like that is something that I don't think anyone even knows is a thing who doesn't live in that area.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't live in Louisiana or in the neighboring, like, right around there, Mississippi, Arkansas, like if you don't live in that
Mhm.
little like area where that is happening, it's like a largely just uncovered story. I just learned about it a few months ago. And then since then I've tried looking some information up on it. And it's not a whole lot. Just not a whole lot.
Yeah, you have to really dig. It's I came to know about it because I read Dr. Robert Bullard's like first major book, Dumping in Dixie, where he did case studies in different cities in the
Yeah.
South. So one of them in particular was in a small city in Louisiana, I think not too far away from Shreveport.
Okay.
And it's just toxic waste. It's
Yeah.
the pollution from the trucks that are coming constantly going through that area, and it's really terrible. And these are just like typical areas that are just neglected, you know
Yeah.
that people just accept that this is just a part of living there, which is really
Hmm.
unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, that the human like psychology part of it is something that I'm always interested in talking about. Just like the fact that these people feel like economically they have no other choice but to accept that reality, because if they feel like if they speak up about it, those jobs will leave that area.
And it's really funny that you say that because the last episode of season 3, I talked to a professor from Cornell, and she and I were talking about some of the work that she'd done in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And she was saying that there's like a basically like a cognitive dissonance, like that people just sort of forget or separate themselves from what and focus on how a thing may benefit them instead of the damage that the thing that they're thinking will benefit them is really causing. Like the benefits are the damages that it's causing.
We see that play out so many different times. I was seeing that play out in real time when I was covering the Amazon workers down in Alabama a few
Oh
months ago
yeah.
and them voting to unionize.
Mm-hmm.
I remember just covering that. I was like just watching videos, people talking about, what Amazon was saying to these workers in this plant, and
Mm-hmm.
basically all the like the anti-union techniques that they were doing to kind of like keep people from knowing what their rights were, or for telling them stuff that is illegal. Like you're not supposed to be saying things like, if you vote to unionize, then you're going to lose this job. Like you
Yeah,
can't say stuff like you
you really
legally can't
can't.
say things like that. but they were saying things like that. And so they were like, hey, if you vote to unionize, we're just going to pack up this plant and take it somewhere else. Or this, I'm sorry, this warehouse. We're going to pack
Mhm.
up this warehouse and we're just going to go somewhere else. We're going to the community. And then the workers in that area, because Alabama is a state that has only the federal minimum wage, so it has $7.25 an hour, and Amazon starts you at 15.
Yeah.
And so you're like, if this place closes,
I'm
my
not
options might be a minimum wage job where I'll be paid half of what
right.
I'm getting paid here. And
And
so,
smell like chicken grease.
right. And
Yeah.
so Amazon, it looks like in a lot of ways, they target communities like this,
Hmm.
communities where they know that they can get away with, doing that because $15 an hour ain't nothing to them.
Yeah.
But in a state like Alabama, that's a
It is
lot.
something. Just the
You know,
way the stimulus checks. People are like, you can't really do a whole lot with $1,200. And it's like, well, if depending, and I would say you're making, let me finish. Oh my
no, I'm
gosh,
just
your
no,
face.
I'm making that face because like I know people who make statements like that. I just want to smack them. I just want to hit them. I have my own story on that, but
Hear me out though, as to
yeah,
why I say that's not, because if you are someone who, if you've lost your job
yeah,
and you are 3 months or so behind in your rent,
yeah,
$1,200 is not, it's going to help you, but it's not going to get you out of the hole. Right. Like that to me is a little bit
no,
more of the way I think about it. Not so much like that in the moment, $1,200 could very well help someone get out of a financial bind if they're in one. But if you're like deep down, like you couple grand in, it's nice, but it ain't gonna,
yeah.
you
Of
know?
course, it's not going to save you, but like, here's my thing, right? So I was on Twitter a couple months back, and it was one of the times where I actually decided to actually comment on someone's giant thread.
Oh Lord.
And the question was, um, if you had to choose between $100,000 or sending Trump to jail, what would you pick?
Is that a real question?
Someone asked that question on Twitter, and there was like hundreds of
I'm
comments,
sure. I'm
hundreds of
sure.
comments. So I said that I would pick the $100,000,
Yeah.
and I had a bunch of people like pile on me in the comments telling me about how terrible of a person I was. And they were like, if $100,000 is really going to benefit your life, then, obviously you have a whole lot of extra issues going on.
You mean like fucking poverty? You mean like that?
And like
You
the crazy thing about it was when I made my comment, I said like almost exactly, I was like, I couldn't imagine being in a position in my life where I could legitimately turn down 100,000 people. I mean, $100,000. Like that seems like the pure definition of privilege. I mean, like that's wild to me. I mean, like
Mhm.
I've never been in a position where I've been like, yeah, I could just turn down 100 grand if it was offered to me. Yeah, for sure.
But you
Yeah.
never know. I mean,
Maybe I will be in that position someday, but I'm not in that position now. And I thought to myself that like, if you're in that position, you must be doing pretty all right in life, you know? And
yes,
so, yeah, I'm just like, you must be doing pretty all right in your life. Where you're like, yeah, I could send Donald Trump to jail today.
but I would also say that, I mean, yeah, I would definitely consider taking $100,000, but I would also say like seeing him in jail, like, and the book deal would be well more than $100,000. Like if I
Yeah.
had the genie that said, Shayla, you can either take 100,000 smackaroos or put Donald J. Trump in jail. I thinking long term, that might be a deal I take. I might actually try to do that because I know that I can write the book how I put Donald Trump in jail and get rich beyond my wildest dreams.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hmm.
I thought to myself, I was just like, if I'm putting a Republican president in jail, Trump isn't even my first option.
Ooh, who's your first option?
It's Bush.
Oh, I would
It's
actually
100% Bush.
I would actually go so far as to dig up the bones of like of George Washington and Andrew Jackson.
Well, I mean, they weren't Republicans
I
though.
don't give two shits.
Well, that was
I
that was how
is
I was
that
thinking about it.
oh okay, no, I don't. I was meant like general like US presidents that I would like to
Okay.
just go back and be like, you raggedy bitch, and it's them too.
Look, because maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but when I look at, I guess, like the negativity that the negative impacts on the world
Mhm.
that were done by a Republican president, and you line up Donald Trump with George W. Bush, I just cannot for the life of me sit here and tell you with a straight face that Donald Trump was worse than George W. Bush. I just felt, and maybe it's because he had 2 terms, but when I think about Guantanamo Bay, when I think about the war in Iraq, when I think about, his stances on,
Hell, the shit he said about black folks in Brazil. I mean, it just
I mean, yeah, he wasn't as, just, I guess, like, what's the word? I mean, he didn't say as many controversial things, but his policies
were
were
terrible.
affecting people on such a negative, like, honestly, just if you just think about Guantanamo Bay, he was literally torturing people.
Yeah. And also, what was that major act that came after 9/11?
The Patriot Act.
Yeah.
We're still dealing with that today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's under him. I mean, the housing crisis that people never recovered from,
Yep.
like, black people as a whole, like, own less, there was less black homeowners today than there was, like, than there, I mean, I'm sorry, how am I supposed to say this? Like, black home ownership has never recovered from that housing crisis
Yeah.
that started underneath his administration.
Yep.
It was higher in 2006 than it is today. And it's absolutely incredible to me, what happened underneath him. I mean, just think about the Iraq war,
Oh my
lying us
God.
into that, how many trillions of dollars we spent, how many people were killed, not just
Wasted.
Americans who were killed, but how about Iraqi civilians who never had anything to do with any kind of
Yep.
terrorism. Their lives are lost because of George
Mhm.
W. Bush. I mean, say what you will about Trump. He didn't start any wars. He didn't. I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and say he make him sound like he's a good person. I hate Trump. We've had this conversation.
I know.
But Donald Trump didn't start any wars. George W. Bush started, like, what, 3? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just saying,
George was definitely like, we're going to war. Like we were,
George
yeah.
W. Bush is a horrible person. And if you're asking me to put a Republican president in jail, if the question had been, will you take $100,000 or George Bush goes to jail, I would have sent George Bush to jail.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I would have. Because that is an evil person. Him, as long as he gets to go in with Dick Cheney.
Mm. Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, Dick Cheney definitely needs to go.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, Dick Cheney shot someone in the face.
And made that person apologize to him.
You
Yes, that's part
shot
of this.
me in the face.
That's part of the story. I'm not making that up.
I
That
know.
that
I
guy
remember that
apologized to
part.
Dick. Oh my
I've been like, what? You shot
god.
me in the face. Like you Phantom of the Opera me, and now you want
Yeah.
me to nope.
Yeah.
Nope. That's ridiculous. And so I definitely think the two of them, the pair of them, definitely need to go to the bottom part of jail. But I would possibly consider sacrificing my $100,000 reward to also put Donald Trump in jail because he
Yeah.
deserves to go there as well, being someone's prison bitch.
I am honestly, I think I've told you this privately, but I'll say it now again. I'm actually more afraid of what comes next
Oh, yeah,
because
absolutely.
I feel like Trump didn't do anything. I don't feel like he created anything. I feel like he just manipulated something that was already there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a moron. And
Yes.
so I'm afraid of the smart person who's like, what if I take that strategy but actually implement it logically?
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Like, that's some scary stuff to me.
It scares me thinking about what's next, even thinking about like, you know, criminal justice reform and thinking about what the system would probably morph into to
Yeah.
continue to sustain itself. And that's more of like kind of my worry. It's just like about what's next is just what is the next way that the system is going to change. We've seen certain aspects of things kind of change as far as like money. We're seeing
Yeah.
that with the housing market as far as just like how insane it is, and for anyone to even get in the door, like a lot of these companies are buying up a lot of properties, and if
Right.
folks
Turning
don't
the whole
have,
country into a giant rental market.
yeah, and if you
Yeah.
don't have
20% down. Just go,
you're screwed.
get out of
And
here.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
basically screwed.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
And we see that that these are the types of changes that are occurring. And apparently there's books that if you were paying attention,
Yeah.
you're supposed to have read while you were in quarantine, instead of maybe buying a dog or going into therapy or learning how to bake focaccia bread. But you know but like I just, that's my concern. It's like, what's the change, what's the mutation, and will we be blah, 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 will be
I know what you're trying to say. Honestly, I feel like the long-term trajectory
Mhm.
is a lot more positive than it's ever been.
You think so?
Yeah, and I really do because I feel like you have to just take it from a giant picture perspective, right? And I think I might have like a unique perspective on it because I live in a red state. But a lot of these social issues, especially when you think about criminal justice reform, you already really have half the country on the side of there needs to be reform, let's do it now.
Yeah.
And so the question then remains is how do you get a portion of the other side to come with you? Because once you get an issue to around 70%, it's a wrap.
Hmm.
And I feel like the more I talk to younger conservatives, it feels like they're a lot more socially liberal than the older conservatives. And
Hmm.
so I feel like, and as time has gone on, it feels like people who are still young and conservative, like, yeah, maybe they, vote for Donald Trump, but 10 years ago, people who voted for Republicans were, like very much like anti, like gay rights, very like, like, oh, everyone deserves to be in jail. Oh, like there's,
Yeah.
like, oh, like, yeah, I'm allowed to say like the N word if I want to because, like I hear rappers say it or
Oh my
whatever, or
God.
you know what I mean? Like all of those things that were like normal like behavior for conservatives, I feel like they're like lessening and lessening and lessening and lessening. And as that happens, it just feels like there's more things that the left and the right agree on and on the younger end of it. Like the older
Hmm.
conservatives, they're still the people they were like 20 years ago,
Oh
30 years
yeah.
ago, 40 years ago, what have you. But the younger ones are getting a little more socially liberal. And I feel like as that continues, there's going to be certain issues I feel like criminal justice, they're not going to be as big of a deal
Yeah.
as they used to be. Because I feel like when I talked to some people who are conservative on like Twitch panels recently, and there were some slight disagreements, but everyone was basically on board with the fact that Derek Chauvin needed to be in jail. Now,
Hmm.
I think if that had happened 15 years ago, there wouldn't have been a consensus like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh
But I feel
yeah.
like there is now. You know what I mean? Especially honestly, going back to our episode earlier where you were just like, we can get rid of prisons altogether. I was like, Darren Chauvin needs to be in jail. I'm sorry.
But you know
I mean,
what though? But this is the thing. And this is, and
Yeah.
I was so in my hippie shit, I really couldn't like properly articulate um my point, which
Yeah.
is really that, we are unfortunately, as a people and as humans, and also I would definitely say as Black folks, we have not seen enough retribution. We have not seen the system work effectively, or people who it was very clear that they did something wrong got to spend an adequate time, or they were held accountable. And
Right.
that's the thing. It's like, if, because we would like accountability, and we also have been punished so much, that we conflate the two and we think that accountability means being punished. And sometimes it's just no, you need to acknowledge that you did something wrong and then work to make amends. Unfortunately, we just have a carceral system which doesn't really do much except be the punishment, not so
Right.
much the accountability to repair harm. So Derek Chauvin is going to go to prison. Yeah, he'll be there for a while, but
About at
he's
least 15 years.
yeah, but he'll still have all the support known to mankind. He's still
Yeah.
going to be, once he gets out, he'll get a book deal. Like he's going to possibly, but something or some entities will take a chance on him and let him come out and be okay.
Right.
Which is
No,
not the
no,
same thing that if, and this isn't a solid example,
right.
but like Michael Vick, for instance, with the dog fighting. Now,
That is a pure example of celebrity working on your behalf, because if he was any other black man,
oh yeah.
he would have
Oh
never gotten out of
yeah.
jail.
He'd have been, yeah. He'd have been Michael Vick, that fool that works at the post office
Right,
who was fighting dogs. I wrote them a stern letter. Yeah, it would
right.
be it would be giving that.
Yeah, so that I think for me, I see that it's a real turtle-like pace, but things are changing. I mean, when we eventually pass, you know, decades down the line, the country is still going to be effed up.
Mm-hmm.
There's no denying that. I know
Yeah.
that for absolute fact, but you know, when I was born, it was a lot worse than it is now.
Yeah.
And in my mind, if we continue to like not take it for granted, it can be that same story like another like 30, 40 years from now, 50 years
Yeah.
from now. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I don't I would like to believe that like a system like that could work, where we just like get rid of like prisons altogether. And maybe you're
Mm-hmm.
right and I'm wrong. I'm not trying to say that I'm like, oh, I'm right and you're
Mm-hmm.
like off in la la land. It's just like I can't envision it right now. I can't envision it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not saying it couldn't work. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think we're in a complete agreement that like the amount of people incarcerated needs to come down dramatically.
Yeah.
It
And the
needs to come
thing
down
is,
dramatically.
you know, we also have to think about like what we're going to do with everyone. You see, like prison was a good fix because it put a cap on certain resources. It helped to kind of limit the amount of those who had access to certain resources because they are incarcerated and thus separated from those kinds of things. And when they come out, they still have to manage and deal with probation with the surveillance that comes with it, and then also trying to navigate finding a job and reacclimating themselves into society. But it's effective in the sense that it still creates a barrier so that people still cannot fully integrate back into society once they are released.
Yeah,
And the problem to me is that there is no, at our current system, between the actual carceral system, which is an extension of the state, there's still the social extension of the state too, which also allows and perpetuates folks, you know, being in a second class citizenship.
right, which essentially just ends up leading a lot of people back to right. So it's a pipeline.
Yeah. And
Yeah, it's
so
something like a circular pipeline
yeah.
almost.
And
Yeah.
so we have to break that. And part of that with like a just transition is really thinking about making certain that folks, we have the resources. So when folks come out of jail or out of
Yeah.
incarceration, they know that they need to go see this particular organization because they will make sure that you get a metro card. They will make sure that you set up an appointment so you can get your ID,
Yeah.
the things that people need support with when they come out, because they are in a frenzied state. They have to do all these things. They've been in this place where it's been, very
Right.
strict and about what their comings and goings and what they're allowed to do. And so now they're out in the world and it's like, oh God, this place is completely different, than what I remember possibly.
And it's hard to get people to take these conversations seriously because,
Yeah.
you're talking about prisoners. And so, and the mental picture that people have is these are bad people. Why should we try to help them reingratiate themselves into society? They should just be happy that they're back out. I mean, like, that's not how I think about it, but I know that a
Mhm.
lot of people view it from that lens. And so
Yeah.
there's a lot of, I think, deconditioning. Maybe that's not the right word, but I feel like there's a lot of like just mental reshaping that needs to be done
Mhm.
around how we view people like this. Because again, so many people end up in prison for nonviolent offenses
Yeah.
and the most ridiculous shit you've ever thought of in your
Mhm.
life. I mean, honestly, I remember just being back home, like around Philly and just hearing so many people that I grew up with, their stories about honestly just the probation slash parole system and
Yep.
how simple it was to essentially never get out of this cycle. I mean, I know one
Mhm.
person in particular, he went in as a kid because he stole something out of a store. And then he went to like juvie. And then when he got out, he was on probation. And one of
Mhm.
the terms for probation was you couldn't smoke weed. But then he did smoke weed. And so he ended up going back into juvie. And then that was like an in and out thing for him for most of his childhood. And it spilled over into his adult life.
Yep.
And then he was going into jail again, like as an adult, but then you come out and then you're on like parole. And then it's just like, it just feels like you just never break out of the cycle. And then you have all that stuff on your record, makes it harder for you to
Mhm.
get into school, get
Yep.
a job. It's just
A
like,
house.
right, your credit goes into the tank. It's just like just so many just problems just trickle down from this. And it's like, and you got brought into this as a child, and it's just like, and if you're coming out of these homes where it's just like there's not a great example being set in the home because of so many different issues that people inside your home are dealing with, it's just
Mhm.
like it feels like some of these people just never have a chance.
Yeah.
And the system itself is designed to take advantage of some of these people.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's just like there's no leniency really.
Yeah.
And it's just it's predatory.
Yeah. That's the best way to describe it. And that's why it has to be undone. And that's why I think like restorative justice is a great tool that we could use as we are moving away from this sort of system where we actually would have, you know, the offender and the offendee, if they are obviously if the victim is okay with it, to sit down
Yeah.
and walk through and work through what happened and what they can do to create resolution. And I know for a lot of people, depending on the severity of the crime, that some people are not trying to hear that shit. And to be honest, I can
Yeah.
understand that. But I also think that we all acknowledge that the way we currently do things is not working. People are not coming out of jail rehabilitated. They're not coming out better than what they went in. They're coming out just as likely to go back in. So
Yeah,
we have to
that's
think of
true.
things and ways and methods and with more healing, more, wellness centered thought and work. I just think that there's a way that we can work towards that. The thing is, like, I remember when I was in residency in grad school, like the way they made it sound was just like, oh, they're just gonna open the doors, just let everybody out, just like that line in Nas's song. Like, it's gonna be a whole bunch of people like, whoa, like stealing bags of hot Cheetos and just running around and like putting
You mean
shoe
like San
polish on their
Francisco,
face.
right?
Huh?
You mean like San Francisco, right?
Yeah. Leave me alone. And like, I don't like you. You get on my nerves. You get on my nerves. You do. People are going to know that, and that's fine. But, yeah, like that's what people envision. It's just going to be the crazy guys that they see on Lock Up Raw who are tattooing their eyeballs and shit, that they're
Yeah.
going to be out in this, trying to fight you at Target for the last roll of toilet paper.
Well, I mean,
And
there might be one of those people.
that tattoos their eyeballs.
I mean, not the eyeballs, but like right up the eyelid. You seen the eyelid tattoos?
No. I've seen that diamond thing that Lil Uzi Vert has in the middle of his head.
What's his name?
Lil Uzi Vert. You don't know who that is? He
Why
has
do
a
you know who that
because
is?
I'm cool. That's why I know who he is. Ah. That's right. I know more about things than just science.
Okay, all right. Uh,
We've been
hey,
on
you know
this.
what?
What?
I'm just gonna say, I mean,
Mm.
I'm all about solutions because obviously we have problems. I mean, I feel like you're a little more. You are. What's the word I'm trying to say here? You believe in this a little more than I'm willing to, but I'm willing to be wrong.
Mhm.
So that's basically where I think I fall on this subject.
And that's, you know what? And I think that's a great place. And I think, like, even when we have a follow up discussion about it, we can
Yeah.
talk about it from like some kind of like bringing Angela Davis into the conversation and, her perspective on, because she's been on this whole prisons need to go since like for a while now. So she is
Right.
of all the like the voices who are advocating for this, I definitely think that she's the strongest and someone to listen to, and even organizations like the PD Green Project, like there's just so many things and organizations and
Right.
work and effort to really kind of push but the fact that more and more people are even talking about abolition is a good sign. It's a good sign because, like, for context, people were the same things that people are saying about abolishing prisons, they said the same shit about slavery. And I know when you say that, people get offended. I remember when someone said that when I was in school and they were like, well, some people didn't believe that slavery should be abolished. They were hesitant about how it would
Of
work.
course they didn't. There was a whole war on
I got tight.
that.
Yeah, but I mean, from at the context was because I
Yeah.
was having resistance to accepting this idea of abolition,
Mm,
implying that folk had been on the wrong side of history, and I did
right.
not take that very well.
I think if I could just sum up what my hesitancy is,
Mhm.
it feels to me like it's a solution that's rooted from a different problem.
Mm.
And so what I mean by that is I feel like that solution is being put on the table because of what happens to people who go into the system and then when they come back out, as you were talking about.
Yeah.
But for me, the problem to me isn't that the jails aren't working. I mean, that's part of the problem, but it
Mhm.
feels like to me that the actual problem is that the wrong people are going into jail. So in my mind, that feels like what I would want to solve first is because I feel like too many people are going into jail, and then we're putting people in jail for too many reasons. So,
Mhm.
like for instance, instead of like we were talking about this early in the episode, I wouldn't send someone to jail for getting their seventh DUI. Like that person should have to go into like a mandated kind of like treatment facility. I wouldn't send someone to jail for for possessing marijuana. Like that person again should be in some kind of treatment facility.
Yeah.
Like those are the kinds of things. And I think as I was saying before, if we went down the line, you'd probably be like, does this crime really need jail time? Maybe not. Maybe this is rehabilitation. Does this crime really need jail time? Maybe not. Does this crime need jail time? Maybe not. And I think if you were to go through them, you'd find that maybe there's only a small number of crimes that actually deserve jail time. And when you actually just do it that way, it feels like once you only have some of the more like heinous crimes
Mhm.
being put into jail, you shrink your incarceration problem. And then you're having less people who then you basically, I think the idea that I'm trying to put forth is that we are eliminating the amount of people who are in jail that shouldn't be there. And so the only people who are left going to jail are some of the people who do some of the most heinous things in our society. Like
Mhm.
if you are a person who kills multiple people, I'm sorry, I just have a hard time thinking to myself about your rights. I mean, I'm thinking about the rights of the person who maybe is the drug offender in jail. Yeah, I don't think that person should be in jail. But the person who's killed 4 or 5 people, I have a hard time buying your rights. I really do. I mean, like at that point in time, I'm like, you've done something especially heinous. I can't think to myself that like I should be advocating on your behalf. Like I don't think that you should be made into a slave in
Mhm.
prison. But at the same time, like if they tell me you're going to jail for the rest of your life, I'm like, hey man, you killed 5 people. Goodbye. I'm sorry. You
No,
killed
and
5 people. Goodbye. I mean, it's like, and obviously there should be some. It should be one of those things where it's like, I know that there's sometimes people get put into jail on very, very circumstantial evidence. I want to
mhm.
like just say that. Like I understand that there's sometimes people get thrown into jail where they didn't actually commit the crime. So obviously there should also be you would hope that we can just change some of the prosecuting, standards for how people get thrown into jail, because some people get thrown into jail on the most like bullshit evidence,
Yeah.
on entrapment, on just manufactured, just like people like on eyewitness testimony, which has been proven to be so inconsistent
Yeah.
whatsoever. So obviously there are exclusions to this quote unquote rule that I'm throwing out there. But if I know you went into a church, like the people who like were like burning like churches, like black churches, or like the
Mm-hmm.
guy who shot up the
Dylan
synagogue
Roof.
in Pittsburgh, or
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the one dude who went through all those massage parlors in Georgia a few months back. I mean,
Yeah.
like I'm sorry, but like I don't have it in me to say that person shouldn't be in jail. Like, but again, I'm talking about like the most heinous of crimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like those people, lock them up. People who are in jail for selling weed, get them out. Get them out. They don't need to be there.
So and this is hard, and this is not something that again,
Yeah.
like I was saying, that I think that because we don't see enough of people actually like being responsible or being held accountable for what they do, that's why we are so vehement in our society. Because I
Yeah.
think we also are thinking about the times where we were punished and maybe we thought it was too much, or whatever, and we see an opportunity for someone to have that same kind of treatment.
Yeah.
But I also think too, like, even if we have just the murderers or just the rapists or the child molesters in prison, I mean, eventually they're going to have to get out
They
of
don't have to
jail.
get out. I mean,
But
maybe.
like,
I mean, honestly, if someone kills somebody, I don't think they should get out. That's just
ever
me, though.
again.
Look, if you kill somebody, like not like involuntary like manslaughter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about like that. Like you like fell asleep at the wheel maybe because you were tired and your car hit somebody else's car and you accidentally kill that person. Like it's a tragedy, yeah, but like I don't think that deserves life in prison. No. But like if you're some deranged like person who in your mind thought it was okay to go shoot up a movie theater,
Mm-hmm.
you got to go away. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think that person should get out of prison. No, I really don't. Like, and I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to like be like, oh yeah, like pro police force or pro like prisons or anything like that. But I'm like, I just
Mm-hmm.
feel like there is a certain class of people where, or a certain class of crimes where it's just like maybe you don't belong in society.
I can I definitely understand and like get the idea of removing people from, if they are creating a danger. I
Yeah.
definitely believe that. I guess like if jail was an opportunity for like mandatory healing, like therapy, all of those things, I would be
Hmm.
more with it. Because again, I do think that there we are going to have to agree that like longer sentences don't deter crimes, and they don't necessarily do anything for the person.
Right.
If for example someone comes out of jail after doing a 10-year bid, more than likely mentally they're the exact same age as what they went in. So they're
Yeah.
out and they're just literally just like, what? Like, this phone has a camera on it. Like, they are not
Right.
able to fully function. And so if we are still only locking up people who we've based upon certain parameters we think deserve it, eventually they're going to
Yeah.
have to get out. And then what? We have to kind of have a plan for that. And I think like we have to think about more of like the restorative justice, like perspective of the principles of restorative justice, as we kind
Yeah.
of build that out, because that's the only way we're really going to be able to like tackle the larger problem, which is that we have to have a better method through like actual psychological practices like therapy to
Yeah.
really heal people in this society. Because there's so much shit. There's like, even I was thinking the other day about just the stigma in the late 80s and early 90s of the welfare queen, of the
Oh my God.
broken home. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? All you did was you just didn't marry the person you had kids with, and you're a single mom, and you created a broken home, you
Yeah.
know?
And
Like,
the fact that stereotype was being perpetuated by the Reagan administration.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which it's funny to me how he's propped up as as like Republican Jesus basically.
Republican Jesus. That's like the best. Ronald Reagan is Republican Jesus. I just can't take Ronald Reagan seriously. I think it's the equivalent of Trump. Like the fact that Ronald Reagan was elected as president is just
Movie
like
star
what?
president.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hollywood president.
Yeah. It's like, what? And so then fast forward, and now we have a reality star.
Yeah, they just went from the big screen to the small screen.
Donald Trump is a master manifester. I don't give a shit what nobody say. I don't like him. I do not like him. But that man believed in himself. So you believe in yourself, Desmond.
I mean, honestly, I feel like the story of Donald Trump is he literally just took the comment section out of Facebook and turned it into a person.
Yeah.
And then he kind of just was like, well, I could tone it down, but what if I didn't?
And I'm not gonna.
And it's absolutely as awful as everything you thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it absolutely is. And I mean, the only thing that I was thankful for was that towards the end, he finally just shut up.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
like
was nice.
after the insurrection happened, he finally just let it go. Because I thought he was going to keep going. I figured he'd be like, "Oh, that wasn't my people.
No,
That was Antifa."
I feel like after that happened, someone was like, "Hey, shut up. You need to chill." And I think he was probably like, "You're right. You're right. I'll chill." He knew
I figured he was going to keep talking the whole time, like through Biden's. Like, we have largely not heard from him.
No, it's nice. It's nice.
It makes me worried.
It definitely makes me worried about what he and his crazies are planning. Definitely.
Yeah, because I feel like the nice thing about it was like he was such a narcissist that we never had to wonder what he was going to do because he was constantly telling you what he was going to do.
He was, yeah.
And if you have someone dangerous like that, you at least want to know what their plans are.
That's true. And that's why, it's a blessing and a curse that he was taken away from Twitter.
Right. And that won't stay like that forever.
No.
Because I tell you what, if he runs again, there's no way they're going to get away with keeping him off social media.
Oh my God.
There's just no way. Because like if the Republican nominee for president is not on social media, the country's going to lose their mind.
They are. That's why I'm really just, I don't know, maybe Mitt Romney will run. I feel like, Mitt Romney is over there.
Joe Biden.
Mitt Romney is over there looking like Doctor Strange. I'm just really hoping that he'll run.
Honestly, I think it's almost a wrap that one of two things is going to happen. That dude in Florida is going to run in some way, shape, or form. And he's either going to run.
Who? Rick Santorum?
No, the governor. Ron DeSantis.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry.
He's either going to run as the ticket or as the vice president on Trump's ticket.
Oh, God.
I can almost guarantee it. I'd almost guarantee it.
Fuck. We're screwed. We are so screwed. That's why I'm leaving.
Conservatives
I'm not going to do this.
I
know.
Yeah. I mean, he's very popular amongst them.
Yeah. He's trash. He is trash and a half. But
I watched him. What was it? I think it was like a month or so ago.
Ryan Paul might run too.
He never gets anywhere. No one really likes him.
No one likes him, but he thinks that people like him, and so
he just runs to stay relevant. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's certain people who just do that just to keep their name afloat. Like they know they're not going to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kind of like what I thought. What's his face? The Maryland's governor.
Oh, I don't know his name.
Turkey Neck. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you talking about New Jersey's governor?
No.
Oh, that's about Chris Christie.
Chris Christie? No. No. Maryland's governor has a turkey neck as well. And
okay.
Hogan, Larry Hogan. So He's also another one, little stunt queen, who possibly was considering throwing his ring into the hat.
Yeah, I mean, you're
Hat
gonna
into the
see
ring.
some of the. I feel
I'm
like the
tired because I'm
Republicans.
fucking shit up. I said ring into the hat and it's hat in the ring.
Well, you said something else earlier that you shouldn't have either.
What did I say?
You said a certain name.
What name? Your name. I didn't say your name on the on air.
No, not my name.
My name? When?
I didn't want to. I didn't want to say anything. I was
What
just.
do you mean you didn't want to say
I
anything?
figured I just let it go.
What do you mean? I have to give specific instructions to have it removed.
My bad. You definitely. I forget. Let me see if I can remember the part of the conversation. Um, no, I'm blanking it. But you definitely said your own name.
Damn. Really, Desmond? And
You
you just let
did.
it happen?
You
weren't
did
like,
it.
like oh,
We're recording. I was just like, oh, maybe she'll just maybe like no one will notice.
what? Maybe no. I am tired. I've been like, I
Okay,
cannot even
yeah, no.
believe that
You got
I've stayed
you
up
gotta you
all
gotta
these hours. My
yeah,
bones are cracking, and all you're fitting to
yeah.
do is get off of here and go like watch what you about to
Black
watch.
Widow.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
WandaVision.
Nah, Black Widow. Yeah. I'm gonna take my Bible shirt off.
You said it, not me. You definitely look like you're about to meet
Yeah.
your friends for half price apps. I mean, it's fine. I'm wearing a vagabond t-shirt. It's fine, but it's both. It's
Yeah.
pink, and it's Friday, so we both got the memo that Fridays we wear
Yeah.
pink.
Well, I was trying to this pink's a little too it's a little too pale. I don't know about it.
It's
I
okay.
want to get the
It
darker
definitely,
pink.
yes, definitely a darker pink because
Yeah.
it'll it'll brighten you up a little bit.
Trying to find something to match the skin color is always hard. Skin
It is
tone.
hard. Do you want to have like a beige colored shirt?
I mean, I never really think about it when I go shopping. I just kind of put shit on and see if it works.
I mean, beige wouldn't look bad on you, like a nice khaki color, but I feel like
Um, it's kind of hard to throw brown on me.
you don't need to wear brown. You need
I
to
mean,
wear
all
like,
all the different shades of brown, kind of, unless there's
yeah,
like two colors on the clothes. If it's like brown with black or brown with gray or something like that, you know what I'm saying? But
you should wear colors like blue
blue is
or
good. Blue always works. All
mhm,
blues work.
yeah,
Yeah.
or maybe like a green,
Some reds, some
some reds,
greens.
you know.
Yellow doesn't work. Orange doesn't work.
Oh, I look good in orange and yellow.
Well, you got the darker skin tone.
You goddamn right.
Yeah, so I mean,
But
those colors don't. They kind of they wash me out a little
they look,
bit.
you look, yeah, you look a little strange. Yeah, when you wear
Yeah,
orange.
it's all good though.
It's okay. There's other colors that you can go for. And pink, I think, is a good one. And I
Yeah,
think if
no,
you get,
pink works. It just needs a
yeah,
dark pink.
you know,
Yeah,
it's not a bad shade of pink though.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to see with this camera, but
It's
just
definitely all washing out. So it
yeah, with
just
the
sort of,
camera right
yeah.
now. Yeah.
I can't talk. I'm in this weird mood lighting. So it's all
I
good.
mean, I just got some overhead lights. I don't really have good lighting on me either. I don't know. Doing this whole like video setup thing,
We'll work
I'm
on it.
uncomfortable with the idea of it
Me
because
too.
I have really weird like I guess like self-esteem issues or whatever.
Why do you have weird self-esteem
I don't
issues?
like looking at myself in the mirror.
I don't, well, I'm on the fence.
So like watching myself on camera, it makes it a little uncomfortable for me because I'm just like, oh, I don't like that look. I don't like that look. I don't
I'm
like that
usually
look.
like, stop making that face. Sit up straight. Don't
I've
do
been trying to
this.
focus on just looking at you the whole time because I don't want to like look at myself on
Um,
camera.
it's okay. Look at yourself.
No, I've been trying not
Look at yourself. Look.
to.
Do it right now. I'm sure you
But
it's fine. Don't be all
or
stressed about it.
I probably should get off anyway because I've only eaten once today.
I
So I should
have
probably
eaten
fix
several
that.
times today and I need to go to bed and get up because I got stuff to do. But you know
Yeah.
what? This is like I guess the bonus round of like our
Yeah,
time together. So I guess since we both turn the camera on, I can probably just post this straight to YouTube.
probably. I mean, you'll have to edit out that part where you said your
You
name.
won't even tell me where it
I
is.
forget what I mean. You if you watch the video back, you'll find it.
Desmond. I'm
I
tired of you
forget.
treating me like this.
I
Tired
forget
of
what we
this.
were talking about when you said it, but you were. I mean, you were referring to yourself. You were like, like, oh, like, I forget what the part of the conversation was.
I'll have to listen. Damn it.
Yeah,
Ugh.
my bad. I
It's
thought about
okay.
saying something, but then I didn't.
It's
I will
okay.
in the future.
Thank you.
Right.
You're not the only one with an alias, sir.
I could have just not told you said your name. And then you would have found out like, when you went and watched it back later.
Yes. Or some random
Yeah.
person would be like, is your real name blah, blah, blah? And I'd be like, yeah.
Oops. Oops.
Well, Desmond, this is
Yes.
kind of like what we always do. Like what
Hey,
people
if you
should
want to, we can
probably,
have like a hard cap next time. You be like, all right, we out of here at this time.
how often have we successfully done that?
We've never tried.
That's, well, no, we have, we usually try to say like, hey, we're just only going to do this for 20 minutes.
That one time I said 5 minutes, it was only 20.
Yes. And then the time I was like, I don't think I want to be here that long. And it was around the phone for an hour. So it never works. And that's why I just don't feel like we should just let it roll because it's fun when it rolls. It's just like us hanging out.
And then you can throw it up on YouTube later.
Yes, I can throw it up on YouTube. So
Right.
everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Desmond and my shenanigans. We are the Independent Thought Podcast and the Crossroads, and we come together sometimes to relay the information to you and also to give each other a hard time, which is really the point.
Right. And more video content in the future.
Yeah, more video content in the future.
Right.
All right, man.
All right.
It was only like what, 4 hours?
4.5.
Okay. Oh my God. All right. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you again at the Crossroads.